Welcome back to Pirate Adventures. Where we last left off, a bargain was struck. A deal and discussion of a truce between the Pirate Council members, Captain Vaela, Elizora, and No-Eyed Bill. The discussion mainly from Commodore Crelic's side, requesting a truce to deal with the coming Armageddon, having a strong connection to the artifacts. Emotions were high after the funeral, and in an opportune moment, Vaela put her hat in the ring for the new Pirate Council member, to which she so gallantly presented herself that they were all for it, except there's just one teeny tiny little issue. Without the bloodied electrum that would have sat around Bloodbeard's neck, there is no confirmation on who his successor is, and therefore no one can succeed him until that time. Now, we left. Cleric has given you and the council basically 24 hours to rest up, take your time, think about your terms, to reconvene tomorrow evening. And I believe where we left off was you guys wish to perhaps go tell your crew, or at least the council members suggested such a thing. So that is where we will begin. Vaela, Elizora, and No-Eyed Bill walking back towards the Bone Blade.
Okay. Yeah, so Vaela will need to summon the officers back to the Bone Blade, because that's probably the safest place to talk, really. Or best place to talk. So she'll summon the officers into the war room. They follow. So Alarias and Tim. Along with the No-Eyed Bill. No, not No-Eyed. Well, No-Eyed Bill anyway.
Navigator.
He's your navigator.
Oh, he's not navigator. He's an officer. And
Archer?
I think it's Archer, Master of Arms.
Archer's your master of arms, so yes.
Berry, that's the word I was thinking of. Berry, as well.
Berry, your quartermaster.
Yeah, the quartermaster. Sorry, I just had to get a list up. Yeah.
Berry would have been with you for the
Oh, was he? Okay.
He would have been present. You would have noticed he was quite quiet, and a lot of the council members left their quartermasters outside to guard the door. Berry was one of those.
Oh, so he's guarding the door. Does he look Does he look pissed that I tried to take Bloodbeard's position?
Roll an insight check.
Okay. 22.
22. There is actually no.
Hates me forever.
There is a discomfort. Not quite hatred, but he's definitely uncomfortable at the moment.
All right.
Not quite hatred.
Not quite.
No, not quite hatred.
Slight disgust.
There's a maybe it's not disgust. Disgust is a strong word, but a discomfort. He's uncomfortable on the walk back, and there's a certain awkwardness to him.
Right. The man's boots ain't even wet yet.
Like I said, it was just
still inside, drowning from his body, and it's just like, oh, I might as well take his seat.
Well, the thing is, right, she wasn't going to say it now. She was going to say it later, but the whole thing kind of just,
the opportunity presented itself.
Literally,
it was the right moment.
Literally, it was the best one she was going to get. Put it that way.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to respect the hustle, but
yes.
I think after noticing your Vaela that you're staring, Berry will literally just say to you, look, let's just get back to the ship and let's discuss it with the crew, because they should know and they should help decide.
Agreed. All right. So, yeah. So obviously we're all there. Vaela will kind of basically retell the conversation that Cleric wants a truce. He. Do you want to RP this out? I don't. Sorry, I don't know whether I was just going to.
No,
Like,
it's okay.
ramble through it.
We can blast through the recap.
Okay, no, fine. Yeah. So he wants a truce. He wants to collect all the artifacts. He doesn't know whether he wants to destroy them or use them, which Vaela will be like, that's weird. Like that's not. That's a very big like question mark concern. You know. And we've got until tomorrow to find out the answer for that. And I think we'll also relay that. I think, if in case they didn't know, like we have 2 in our crew. The fleet have 2, and there's one crew has one, another crew has another. So detailing those pieces as well, if need be, to you all. Basically, just giving you as much info as she can, basically relay. So we're basically bringing this here for you all to think about, give us some ideas, feedback, suggestions, thoughts.
Tim would want his guarantee that we're planning to destroy the artifacts.
Oh, by all means, they'll go to my friend on the other side when all is collected. They've got their methods.
He's agreed to this, has he?
They certainly have.
Okay. Well, I'm happy to take Elizora at her word for this. So, but yes, we are, for all intents and purposes, we are planning to destroy these artifacts. They are too much power for any one person to have hold of. Because as they say, power corrupts, and these artifacts are mighty powerful.
And he sounded very blasé about it all.
But what concerns me is that Cleric just doesn't know which he's going to go for. You'd like to think that someone of his supposed intelligence and stature would have a better idea. If he knows enough to know that they're dangerous or would bring about the second end of, the world, why would he not know which one he wants to use it for?
He doesn't need to know.
My thing is, I don't trust him. No information is usually the worst information.
You shouldn't trust him. He's keeping that information to himself. He won't tell you all that information.
I mean, if he's willing to mind control pirates to gain information, I don't really see how he wouldn't just, do the same for this, betray us all. I mean, do we know what his crown does, or the scimitar? Like,
well, the scimitar is it helps to control parts of the undead and aspects of like skeletal form. The whole ship is a witness of what the scimitar can do.
Fair. I wasn't there for that, but yes. But okay.
The crown itself, it's, as for what I can tell in my research, it's got aspects of mind powers and strength powers, foreseeing powers. You can pretty much carry anything under the sun, and it's already got aspects of it. But ultimately, the Commodore ain't gonna care about what happens. We're gonna be the ones doing all the legwork. We're gonna do all the lifting, carrying. He's gonna be sitting pretty up in his ivory tower and just waving at us,
laughing,
and with all the aspects of, he knows exactly he's pulling on his strings.
Elizora,
We'll have to do our dance.
could you just roll a history check for me?
We should discuss what fleet resources we get access to as part of the deal, because we know it's a ceasefire, but
yeah, what do we get of this?
What more? Yeah, because we are going to be doing the legwork.
That's fair. I got 24 for history.
24. So, I'm going to ask you now, I can either relay this information to you, but you recall some more capabilities of the crown that you've discovered in your research. I can either tell you privately, or I can tell everyone now.
Just give me a note form, and I can. Elizora's given what's relevant necessarily.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, then it would it certainly confirms my suspicion that this crown was what he was using to, you know, take Alarias' mind over. You know, and if as long as he has it, any countermeasure he put in place is, you know, subject to sabotage.
As far as we're aware, he only got that crown recently. He hadn't had that the whole time.
Yeah, I hate to say it, it wasn't the crown.
Ah, I see. I was trying to. Oh, never mind.
Trying to bail him out.
A little bit, yeah. Okay. Well,
That's maybe a separate chat, but
I mean,
he's got his ways of getting information.
Yeah.
And he probably already knows what kind of decisions we may make. He won't give us any resources if he doesn't have to. He's going to make us do all the work. End of the day, he's going to backstab us
yeah.
if he wants.
The way I stand with this, I don't really think this truce is a good idea. This is my current line of thinking, is that this truce really doesn't benefit us that much. I mean, a ceasefire, you can't be telling me that every pirate's going to stop attacking the fleet. It's just not going to happen. That ceasefire is going to break down very, very quickly. I mean, we saw at point sort of motioning to Elizora how Bolt was reacting in that room. There's no way that he's just not going to boil over at some point.
I don't know. It certainly has. It can help someone breathe a little easier. Potentially get into better positions in certain areas that they weren't able to before.
Maybe.
It's you gotta admit it allows a person to breathe in the moments where they may be having the fire down their neck. I mean, a lot of people will take that and run.
One other thing to remember, as well, Elizora and Alarias, you all know this especially. There's a lot of pirates that are purely pirates because they did something as simple as like steal bread. Like they're not overtly criminal. It's purely the aspect of how targeted they've become. They've had to choose this life over that one.
They're just trying to escape the law, sort of thing.
Yeah.
That's true, I suppose. It may people rest a little easier if they know they're not just going to get, you know, sold out every time they go to a you know, a village or a town, or, you know, like the issue that we had in Osty.
Precisely. There is posters of pirates everywhere, and if the fleet continue their onward march to the flood domination, then there's not going to be very many places left that a pirate can go unabated.
Certainly be an interesting term if they were to take down all those bounties. Essentially rescind the bounties for the length of the truce.
It's probably be some kind of like abstination or absolution, temporarily perhaps. It'll all be like asterisk, just. Or but like private citizens can claim bounties, but the fleet won't, and so on. There's probably still ways to finagle out of that one. But again, as I can imagine, there's plenty of ways to finagle out of the truce on the pirate side. If they can claim self-defense in the right manners, then perhaps they can defend the potentially indefensible of breaking the truce.
I mean, any truce between the pirates and the fleet is going to be, well, to pardon the pun, fleeting. But
there's a lot of bad blood.
Oh yes.
My worry is, why has Cleric come here to us? He obviously needs us to get the rest of these relics.
Well, we're not going to certainly go to him, and I think as well, he may know that we have more artifacts than he does. We are technically winning, as it were.
we should use that to our advantage. He needs us, maybe more than we need him. But
Well,
even though
yes.
he's overpowering us right now,
I mean,
maybe we should agree better terms for us.
really, the only thing we're getting out of them is safety. You know, information-wise, we don't really need it. We have the globe. We already know where everything is. Him giving us that extra bits of information, really doesn't make much of a difference.
Does he want us because he knows we have the globe?
Potentially.
Oh yeah, you
I would-
know.
I would
He knows.
imagine. I mean, like with anything, I'm sure the person, top brass in these organizations, you just assume they already know everything.
In fact, you address Bill by first name. I don't think anyone's done that in at least 30 years.
I mean,
It's-
regardless of our chat, we don't really have a choice, do we?
No, we are currently surrounded by,
Hmm.
a battalion of them, an armada, as it were. There's nothing stopping them if they get the answer they don't like, just opening fire on all of us. And there's not really a lot of way for us to escape. Because I'm kind of I'm assuming it's like is it like a circle? Are they like just fully on surrounding us? The wreckage.
Well,
So
we have the means to escape, thanks to Bill. But it's
True.
everyone else on the seas that would not.
Yes, but I don't really plan on losing all of our pirate allies.
So if you think of the wreckage, how I explained it last time, it's a big tower of
Ah.
ships, and there's spiked rocks in a lot of places. I'd say Krelig's men and Krelig doesn't know these waters. They don't know where these spiked rocks come out. The pirates will. There are enough for it to be considered a difficult terrain or a maze in a sense where there would be some risk but some capability of escape because they're not completely surrounding, but they're at the forefront. It's more of an arch than a circle. And much to his previous words, they are very much weighed anchor and staying still.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they even know where the wreckage is now, it puts us in a very delicate
It's pretty
situation.
hard to miss.
Well, yes, but the flood's a large place.
Yes.
You don't just stumble upon somewhere like the wreckage.
Ah.
I mean, it sounds like that this truce is probably going to have to go ahead one way or another. So we just have to make sure that we iron out what these terms should be and how we go about it. I mean, one of the thoughts I potentially had is that if we are to, say, store them in a vault somewhere, is that...
No, Vaela, no, we're not relinquishing our artifacts. No. That's never going to be on the table. It's not. How can we make the most of what we need to do to even collect them if we don't have them in the first place? The best bet is to better utilize the globe to better go through the astral plane and skip vast materials of travel. That's a huge, massive advantage, and on top of being able to move and escape on a moment's notice.
Out of
We
interest,
can't lose that leverage.
Out of interest, Elizora, what is the range of the crown?
I wouldn't know. You'd have to probably be the wielder to know. Probably, I would say maybe a mile, max, maybe.
Okay. Right. Okay, because obviously, if it was like the entirety of Flood, as I said before, anything that we put in agreement is subject, is sketchy at best if he can just control anyone's mind from anywhere.
Look, it's gonna be sketch from now until the end of whatever's gonna happen.
Okay.
And it behooves us all to better still utilize the artifacts at our disposal. How can you look eagle eye in the eye as you say no? She has to give up her compass and cannot visit the air.
Mhm.
How can you look coy in the eye and say no? You have to relinquish your ship and leave the depths of the seas to wreak whatever havoc may be going on.
Makes sense.
It behooves them for us to lock him away.
Fair. So really, then our only thing is our only terms so far that I'm hearing is ensure our safety. Based, if we ever travel anywhere, assuming we don't no pirate causes havoc, you know. But we're not just arrested on sight or attacked on sight. If someone, you know, commits arson, then that's something that's sort of different. But you know, if they can, as long as they can guarantee that we're relatively safe to move wherever we need to move to, they offer us any knowledge and access that we need to get these artifacts, then that's fine.
There's the discussion of where the vault's going to be.
Well, Elizora, the idea of a vault, I think, is there's no really much point, unless the only thing is that the vault is where the new artifacts go into. But as Elizora rightly points out, no one's going to relinquish the artifacts that they have. I mean, the globe is obviously very important.
New ones.
Yeah, if we have a vault for the new ones, then maybe. Depends on what they are. If they would help us to obtain others, then, you know.
Barry like steps in for a second. Just goes, if you can make sure that this vault is something that Cleric can't get into on his own. I don't know, like some shared key.
Yeah, I mean,
then
a member from our side and their side should have to be present, and you know, like a council member should be present, at least, and it realistically should be in a neutral location.
Absolutely. I think I don't like him. I don't like what they've done. But if it's going to stop us all dying, or make it easier to deal with that problem, I'd pick that over, well, death.
Yes. So that more realistically works, is that whatever is constructed, one of us, one of them, and it's ideally in a neutral location. You know, it's not going to be in fleet grounds. It's somewhere relatively neutral that we can both easily get access to. Then I don't see why not. Is anyone in disagreement with that or want to add anything?
I think a lot of these are going to be a lot of these debates are going to be including a pirate captain of some kind and a fleet captain of some kind. It's going to be a lot of that collaboration.
Oh yes, yes. We don't know what their terms are going to be yet.
We're going to need the crew to have a chance to vote. That's how it works here. Everyone gets a vote. Everyone. So our crew need to vote on our decision. And you said there were terms? Like, do we need to come up with what we want out of this?
Alarias makes it sound like it doesn't matter what we want.
I mean, ultimately what we want is for these artifacts to be collected and destroyed.
On our ship.
Well, yes.
Was he specific about that? Are we doing this?
That's what we need. One of the things I guess we need to iron out. But the problem is he doesn't know whether he wants them destroyed or whether he wants them to be used, which is what makes me very nervous.
I told you, it don't matter. It makes no difference whatsoever. If you pull on the strings, and then he'll just pick up the winnings at the end of the card game.
We have to basically go in assuming we're going to get betrayed at the end, essentially. So how do we get there first? But I suppose in a way, it's actually better if the pirates are the ones doing the legwork, because that means we're the ones that have them in our possession.
Mm-hmm.
And if they actually means they stop looking for them, well, again, all the better for us. Which I'm sure won't be the case, but it's potentially in our favour. Because it means then if we say, do collect the remaining... Wait, how many we got? 4, 6... 4 more. If we do collect the 4 more, then all we have to do is go to fleet en masse and take there too. With the, 8 that we have. I'm sure armed with 8 artifacts we can overpower the fleet.
So we don't want them collecting artifacts in the meantime.
If we can avoid
Did
it.
they say they want to?
I mean, this is
Oh,
under
okay.
this is under the
Without a doubt.
this is under the assumption that we take, the view that Krelig's just going to sit on his rear or in his arse all day while we do all the work.
Unfortunately, I don't think he's that kind of person. He's been pretty active since he became Commodore.
He'll be tracking our movements no matter what we do.
I mean, we have to obviously be very clear that this is not a, airtight truce, and it will likely crumble if any side goes out of line. At least we can, attempt it, I guess.
Or at least put truce or no truce to a vote to the crew.
Yes, I say so.
I'll get some parchment and start writing that up because we'll. I imagine a lot of people are going to want to be anonymous for this one.
That's fair. It's very fair.
By the way, just to be clear, mechanically speaking, you guys have the decision.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
cool.
That's just a narrative thing of
No, that's fair.
they would want that to be the thing. So
So-
you get to decide
Yeah, I
what
was
the
gonna
crew votes.
So,
Mm.
I suppose initially we might as I mean, there's no reason for us to be anonymous. We're all officers here. I guess is there anyone here opposed to the truce?
Not
Yeah.
enough to say no.
Feels pretty unanimous.
Yeah.
Join or die.
Literally. Literally. Yeah, it sounds like it, yeah. Okay. So at least from our standpoint, it sounds like we're going to go ahead with the truce.
I was going to say, Umbra, you're there as well.
Oh, was it?
Oh, I thought he was down in his dungeon.
You're the ship's doctor. You're an officer.
Yeah. Right, Umbra's probably just like tinkering with something at the same time.
I mean, you'd be pretty quiet in all this, Umbra. Do you have any opinions on all of this? Have you been paying attention?
He's just happy to be here.
Say again, Tim.
You're just happy to be here, chum.
I'd be happy you left to my own devices.
See how he
Just
lights
thought I
up
had to
around
make a-
others.
Well, I guess we go back to them then with well, we get the crew's vote, and then we'll inform the rest of the council members in the morning. I'm sure all the council's going to want to get together in the morning to discuss what the outcome of their crews were and to come up with collectively what we want to present to Kralik.
Just don't don't let him overpower you.
No. We're certainly not gonna bend over to the fleet. If the pirates have to go out fighting, then they go out fighting.
Yeah.
Better
Don't
than
let him
being
sway you.
exactly better to die fighting the fleet than to live under their thumb.
Yeah, I would rather live.
I know, Umbra. Oh, don't worry. I fully expect you to flee the first moment you can. And so, all right. Okay then. Well, if you think of anything else, then just let me know. Otherwise, in the meantime, just relax as best you can. If there's nothing else, then you are dismissed. Okay.
I think we're good.
Cool.
It is evening. You can either all take a long rest now, or, and by long rest I mean a short rest, you can either all take a short rest now, or you can go in, have some drinks, chat to other pirates. Your choice. If there is anything anyone else would like to do.
I think Vaela would go back in and sort of mingle She won't drink too heavily because she wants to be at least okay for them tomorrow, because tomorrow could be quite eventful. But she'll just mingle.
You
Drink.
will notice, Vaela, when you go in, not one pirate council member is in the wreckage.
Okay.
Oh, dude. They're gonna fuck us over.
What are there ships here?
Yeah, their ships here.
Okay, let's say. Probably just on their ships, I
The
imagine.
same as us, yeah.
Yeah,
Talking to the crew.
Come on, guys. I'm not going to betray you all immediately.
Yeah,
I'll do the build up.
Yeah.
like we should have an escape plan just in case things go tits up.
Well, we do
well,
it. We do. That's what the astral
The
plane.
astral, yeah.
But yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, I think that's what she'll just do. I mean, she'll notice that the council's not there, wonder where they are, but she's not going to have a clue where they could. I mean, she'll assume that they're just on their ship, still talking it out.
Umbra.
Yep.
Could you make a wisdom saving throw for me, please?
Wisdom. Interesting. Okay.
Bad news bears for Umbra.
Mm.
I think he's trying to link it to Foundry. Is that coming through?
Oh, I see it.
Did it come through?
You have a +0 to wisdom? Right. Anyway, actually,
Yeah,
that's not
that's right.
surprising. What am I talking about? Right. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You're fine. You feel like something tries to make contact,
Ooh. Okay.
but you brush it away.
Reach out.
Can I?
Your natural instinct of recoiling to yourself and not being touched, just you block it away.
I like look around? Is anyone like eyeing me or like looking kind of shady?
You don't see anyone.
Can I? I can't really do anything to like reach out for myself, can I? Just checking what my spells are. I don't really have any spells. Okay. Oh, I'm very curious. See, I'm just gonna stay in the same spot for a bit, just like kind of looking around at people.
Interesting.
Hmm.
Can you roll it again for me?
Can I choose to fail it?
You can.
Do I feel like it was just contact, or
You feel like something tried to make a connection with you.
You don't know what the subject of that connection is.
it could be like a mind control or something?
Literally, yeah.
That is up to your interpretation.
Who'd want to mind control Umbra though? Of all people.
Yeah, that's true. I
No,
feel
who
like
wouldn't?
I'll allow it in. I think because I'm quite
Okay.
curious. But it's-
No one would suspect a thing. That's the thing. If you start acting strange.
That's true.
So someone suddenly, out of your view, Umbra, someone you didn't notice before, a man with white hair and pale white skin, red eyes, a black hat, and a black coat, bearing seemingly no weapons, just suddenly looks at you dead in the eye, and he says, "Did you lay the poison?" And Umbra,
Oh.
I'm gonna need your surface thoughts and your deep thoughts when I say that line.
I remember if I put any poison. Wait.
The
did I
blue
poison
rot.
the-
Blue rot. Remember you tried to put blue rot on Bolt
Yeah.
ship. Was it Bolt
Yeah,
ship?
Elena. Yeah.
Yeah, Elena do it.
Elena.
Why did they do that?
Because he
Oh,
looked. He basically annoyed you. He like spoke down to you. So,
So
He's
you
the
you
one who
decided
wrapped you
to-
up over the Electrum coin.
So you decided
So I
to
poisoned
poison
him
it
in
with blue rot.
essence. I remember now. Yeah.
My-
not just him though.
question-
You literally spiked his food supply on his ship.
Yeah.
Yep. Oh, Umbra, unfortunately,
Oh, no.
you have accepted detect thoughts.
How
and
much do you
he
do?
deep dived as well. So this means
Oh,
that
no.
Umbra, unfortunately, I don't think there's any case where you can't immediately think of what you've recently done,
That's okay.
unless you can come up with some clever reason why not.
Would Umbra
I would
even
think
care
so.
enough to commit it to memory? It's like so normal to him.
I do think it's
Ah.
like surface thought would be, like which poisoning is this? And he'll just be like thinking you.
Yeah, you need to be more specific.
Yeah.
I think his deep thoughts will give it away. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Alright.
So this
So
man
normal.
smiles, and you see his yellowed teeth grin, and his shaven face stares at you, and they go, "Well done."
Oh. Umbra says,
You you appreciate my work?
I do, very much.
"Ooh,
Hmm.
We should speak more, friend.
Yes, I suppose we should. And he begins to walk past you, and then and he's gone.
damn it, I want to follow him. Can I follow him?"
I'm talking like a teleport, and he's
Oh,
gone.
okay, interesting.
And you find in your pocket a small card with a golden paperclip on it.
Ooh. Can I take a look?
Is Umbra being invited to Smash? Is that what this is?
Yeah.
It seems blank.
Interesting. Card with golden paperclip. Can I roll, like Arcana or Investigation? Like just.
Yeah,
try
if
to
you're
do it?
if you're looking at this, you can roll either Arcana or Investigation. Either of those would work. You can choose.
Okay, I've got +7, so I'll do Investigation. 16.
Obviously, this is not a blank piece of paper, and this golden paperclip isn't something you've seen before, but you can sense there's something magical about it, perhaps an enchantment of some sort. Probably something quite simple.
Yeah.
It feels like you're going to have to take some time to crack how to see whatever is on this card or to open it properly. But there's, this isn't your first rodeo. This is definitely some kind of secret messaging, or maybe some way to contact that person you just spoke to.
Yeah, I feel like either he's testing me, or he'll like activate when he wants to talk to me, sort of thing. But all right, yeah. I mean, Umbra will pocket it, and he'll be examining that later for sure.
Very interesting.
Very interesting. Yeah, indeed.
That's raises a lot of questions because how does he even know your specific? Because Elena did it right, so the fact that he knows that he actually traces it back to you, but it's he already checked out Elena maybe. But yeah,
Very
very interesting.
Yeah, I'm intrigued.
Did it? Oh yeah, okay. Well, I wasn't there. That's fine.
Can I get a vibe check of the crew through the evening sermon?
Roll an insight.
Of course, I've got good insight.
Has Tim been trying to like convert anyone else to Joylif?
He hasn't mentioned it.
I haven't mentioned it in a while. It's a passive conversion at the moment. 24.
24. There are some who still believe. There are some who have waned a little.
Mm-hmm.
Disgusting.
There are others who feel like they need the faith.
Mm.
And that's why they've come, being surrounded by fleet ships at the moment. But generally, the sermon you give does bring everyone here peace.
It's a hopeful one in the face of great uncertainty.
Indeed.
Not time to whack out the venison yet, though.
Maybe not. Is there anything anyone else would like to do? Alarias?
He'll probably go to the wreckage and just see if the chair has changed now that they've had the meeting, and if there's any talk about Cleric. any assassination attempts.
There are many whispers. There are many drunk people that are basically saying, "I could take him one-on-one." There is a range. Can you roll investigation for me? Because you're kind of searching for that kind of thing.
Yeah.
One-on-one, the guy who cut a bullet in half. Yeah. And that 20 bullet in half at max damage.
I got 26.
There is a small sect of pirates just whispering amongst themselves, and you begin to overhear them. I'm not letting that filthy-handed piece of shit anywhere near any of our stuff, and I'm not taking any orders from him. It's not happening. I know. And I think we need to have a plan. If they're going to do this, we need to seriously consider taking charge of the situation. You don't mean what I think you mean, do you? Because that could be a real big problem. And they converse as they go on, Alarias, and you tend to get the sense that they're planning, but there isn't a good planner among them. It's one of those where it's a lot of it's like a group of conspiracy theorists, right? Like they have that, oh, we should do this and this and this and this, but nothing ever happens because no one's like willing to put the structure in place.
I kind of want to light the fire, but
Oh my god.
There's an opportunity there to do it, definitely.
no, he can't let his emotions go over him. No, he's no, he's not that kind. He's not that kind of guy. Come on, intelligence of 19. I think he'd do that. I think he'll go to Vaela and kind of report back what he's heard. Out of interest, something very funny. He'll go to one of the drunk people, who's like, "Oh yeah, I definitely could take down Cleric," and he'll be like, "How much? How much would you take to do it? How much?"
How much?
Yeah,
What, gold?
yeah. How much would it take?
I'd do it for more than 40 balloons. It's 80 gold for your manor. I'd do
Wow.
it. I'd take him one-on-one. Just bring him here. I'm ready.
How would you do it?
That's what I just said. Fists. Punch him to the ground.
We should recruit this guy.
You seem like a menace. Yeah. What's his build? Is he?
He
Don't know.
is short and stout. He's a dwarf, but tall for a dwarf.
Hmm.
Quite skinny for a dwarf, actually. But he's swaying quite a lot, and he's got like a real dirty brown beard, and it's very scraggly, and he's got like a shaved head and a gold earring on one side, and you can see one of his teeth is silver, and he's just swaying constantly. You're gonna pay me the money then?
I think I could maybe do you one better. You see over there, there's a group of fellas. They're feeling a bit uneasy about everything going on. Maybe they could use your services.
Right? Slams
And
down
he's
a
pointing to that
tankard.
group that were investigating and planning.
Slams down a tankard. Rum like spills out, and he goes, "Ooh," starts like chugging it, and then slams it down again, and there's nothing left in there. And then he gets up, walks over to that group, very, very stumbly. At one point, he trips over, and it looks like he's about to fall over, but he goes into like a dive roll, stands back up, carries on
Nice.
swaying and walking.
Good acrobatics skills there.
Hmm.
Proficient in acrobatics.
He's
Truth
a
master,
nimble
right?
little guy.
It's not flying, it's falling with style.
Exactly. I suppose then, unless anyone has anything else, we go down for the night for a short rest. Alarias, I'm going to need you to do one more wisdom saving throw, by the way.
Okay. Ooh, 15.
Alarias, when you go to sleep this night, you have a dream. And a lot is going on in the stream. You get flashes of Cleric. You get flashes of your daughter. You get flashes of your wife from before. There's so many things going through your brain. It's so hard to focus. And then you find yourself in the ocean. The water is calm. There is no single boat around. You hear this cry of seagulls above you, and the sun is glaring down. What do you do?
Is it just open water around me?
It is just open water around you.
I mean, there's not much I can do. There's no cries out for help. There's no sign of anyone
Roll a
near me.
perception check.
13.
You hear a small cry in the distance. It sounds different but familiar. It's a woman screaming for help.
He's gonna start, because he's seen the flashes, he's gonna start shouting out his wife's name.
You swim forward, searching for your wife. And she's there on this tiny little sandy peak, barely poking above the water, but as you swim towards it, it gets further and further and further away from you. Until you can't swim anymore and you begin to sink. And in the dark depths of the water, you see two yellowed eyes, and you feel a tentacle begin to wrap around your body and grasp and pull you down. What do you do?
Can I start casting spells?
Yeah, you can do it. You've got anything you've got access to.
No, can't use that. Can I try and... I don't know, like, can you Misty Step it underwater? How does that
Yeah.
work? Yeah. I like Misty Step out of the tentacle.
Yep, you do so. You've escaped. Whatever this silhouetted dark creature is, bigger than anything you've ever seen before, it continues to sink, and then it stops and looks up at you, its yellowed eyes staring, and you see storms of lightning above, past the layer of water surface, and you feel a static to the water around you, and then you feel a tugging in your coat. What do you do?
What's tugging me? Can I look down?
The book from the old wizard man you didn't know that died and had apparently known Grizel, his druidic book, tugging at you. What would you like to do?
I open the book.
As you do, the book flickers under the water as if completely untouched by the moisture, and it shakes, shakes, shakes until you feel yourself sucked into the book, and then you wake up. You will not gain a short rest this night, for the cold depths haunt you until morning.
Holy shit, man, my heart was going there. Jeez. That was intense.
Mm.
The dawn comes. Out across the ocean, there is a cloud. It is overcast skies across all of the wreckage. But in the distance, you see a thin line of sunshine reflecting off like a golden slither on the horizon, shimmering in the distance like a small piece of hope. You look back towards the wreckage. There is work to be done. What is everyone doing?
Well, Vaela will be good, so get breakfast. Does she see any of the council members now?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
How?
Except
Oh, okay, sorry.
Captain Shade, which is the drow elf.
Right. How do they look? Do they look like haggard, rested, stressed? How do they, you know?
I feel like this is more insight than perception, so I'm going to go with insight.
Okay.
Roll that for me.
That's a nat 1.
They're all eating the breakfast. It's pretty hard to read them when they've got a mouthful of,
Hungry.
gruel.
Yeah.
Just seem hungry.
Yeah.
They seem to be like muttering to each other as well every so often. There's a small amount of segregation, I'll say, as you noticed.
Or are the council members eating somewhere separate?
They're, it's a long table in the middle, and often they would sit there, but Odana's sitting with Halon and Cross. Dorado and Tyrrell are sitting together. And Shade is nowhere to be seen.
I don't suppose there's like a council member on their own.
If you could find Shade, he'd be on his own.
Okay. Alright. I don't think she'll go and look. I think she'll focus on getting her breakfast. She's hungry.
It's gruel.
Yeah,
It's not very appealing, but Sailor's biscuits are available as well. That's about it.
Yeah.
Anyone else? Anything they'd like to do for the morning? So, let's move on to the festivities. Evening comes round. The cutlass slowly approaches again. As it does, there is a certain sense of dread. And you find yourself wondering how this is going to go. There is more silence than you have ever heard at the wreckage. And as Cleric steps off, you can play the music now. As Cleric steps off onto the port, I have but one request this time. Bring all your crew. They should all hear the deciding moment. It is only fair. I understand your code. They are all involved. We were thinking the same thing. Yes, sirree. We're okay with that. Ain't that right? The others begin to nod. Vaela, you're a part of this too, honey. You come on.
She'll step forward and go, yeah, I agree. It affects everyone, so everyone should be involved.
And your crew.
Yes.
Good.
Yes.
They begin to walk slowly into the main room. Most of the other pirates flood out, and what is left is the Pirate Council's crew. The Pirate Council members, their officers, and all of you. Your crew find themselves in the lower part of the crowd, but that main table in the middle with the golden chalice sitting on top of it is where you all begin to sit round. I received a few questions from y'all last night, separately, of course. I believe you have your terms. I would like to hear them, and then I shall present, perhaps, some counter offers or mine. First things first, we've all suggested. Slavery must be abolished. It's not allowed on your civilized world, as it is not allowed on ours. I would like to say that I agree. The economy of Fleet is built on slavery, and I am only in charge because, as propaganda will often tell you, that is how I am kept in charge. The people like me. I must keep it that way. I have put some steps in place. Certain things will go forward to make slavery a expensive option to those who covet it so much. But I cannot abolish it with one single word. Steps must be taken slowly, it must be subtle. Otherwise, I will be mutinied, and that will not do well for anybody in this current situation. I don't know about you, but I would feel a lot more comfortable if I saw those steps you're taking. I can bring you the documentation for the laws myself. That's going to be important. And he just brings a finger up to his ear. And he closes his eyes for just a second. Then he opens them and he says, "They're on their way. Now, your next point? The bounties must go." Halon Coy, stepping up for a minute. "I have seen bounties for many a reason, some warranted. But I have also seen them unwarranted, and they have caused deathly harm to those who have done as simple as steal a crumb of bread. They must go. I understand and I agree. I believed as part of this truce we would remove the bounties as a sign of our unity, and crimes will be dealt with in a different way. Good, because justice cannot happen with a price." Tyrrell stands up, and there's almost a bit of shock from some of the others. Like he's not supposed to do that. "We're not your lapdogs. If anyone's going to be given orders and taking them, it'll be whatever captain is of the vessel doing the mission. That means if you're on our crew, you listen to us. And I imagine vice versa if you're on my ship. Aye, only fair." And then Cantrip Dorado stands up and just goes, "And this is not necessarily my specific request, but Capitan Vaela, she mentioned it last night. You will return the crew of the Cutlass. Brandemir's friends should be free, and they should be allowed to choose what crew they serve. This is also doable, but it will take more time. They are quite far away. I hope you can understand." "Yes, of course. We can handle that, as long as there is some written agreement." And you, as that said, you kind of notice there's actually a person in the corner with this spectral quill that's just writing down notes. And they're not actually like handwriting them themselves, they're just doing this. And the quill is writing down on paper. "Capitan Vaela, is there anything you'd like to request?"
None of us are planning on relinquishing our artifacts. In the meantime, we will need them to acquire the rest. And subsequently for the future ones, we'll most likely need those to collect the others. We don't like the idea of a central vault, not while you control a artifact that can alter people's minds and mental state. We feel nothing that any security measures we put in place could be undermined. So I would suggest that the artifact would be in custody of the person who discovers it, until all are collected and brought together.
He sits up, his posture impeccable, and he looks at you, Vaela. Interesting. I would argue that perhaps the use of the artifact should go to the team that is retrieving an artifact at the time of which they are retrieving it. And my plan for this vault was an interdimensional space that we would all have access to.
Any
A pocket dimensions hidden from both the gods, hidden from us ourselves, one that we have an agreed key, something that we all bound to, so we can only access it when we are all together.
Getting everyone together at the same place repeatedly, it's a bit of a tall order. Don't see how that would end up working. And
Well,
like I
then
said,
perhaps-
if we're going to share these out as and when we need them, we're going to meet up every time that's going to end up happening?
Well, if this truce does go through, which I hope it does, to gain the intel, which I will use my resources to discover on where artifacts are, or how we need to retrieve them, and to give you said resources for any that you wish to retrieve, we are going to have to meet up. There is going to have to be some kind of convenient point where we would trade resources for such a matter.
Said place would have to be on neutral ground.
Absolutely. And I think you'll find it true that the ocean is the most neutral of all ground.
He's got a point.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that that's like, yeah, obviously. Thinking of like land, as I know.
My suggestion is, if it is difficult for us all to meet up, you will choose a champion, a key holder for your people, and I shall choose one of mine. And they shall be brought along to every meeting to be able to retrieve the artifacts out for those who need them at the time they need them. I will happily relinquish my artifacts to a vault which I will not have access to, if you will do the same.
I think she'll definitely turn to the rest of the council on their own take on this, because she's definitely not going to just, you know.
Elizora shaking her head, just.
Yeah, yeah.
If those are the terms, and you will not falter any further, I suppose we put it to a vote.
I don't like the idea that, as we have double the artifacts that you do, relinquishing them all puts us at a much more of a disadvantage than it does yourself.
How about a deal? We only put equal amounts in at the time, and as we collect more, we put even amounts in as we go further. I shall relinquish my 2 if you relinquish your 2. When we collect the next 2, they go in the vault with your other 2.
How do you even get a ship in a vault? But okay.
He has mentioned his interdimensional, his plan.
Yeah. I'm just trying to. I mean, we need it. We'll potentially need as much power as we can potentially get. The artifacts that we have, even in my own crew, are vital for us to continue finding these artifacts.
Then whoever is going on the mission to find the next 2 can be the ones that keep their artifacts. Does that not seem fair? There's a slight grimace, and Halon's fairly calm most of the time, There is a slight grit of his teeth that you probably notice. And Odan is very much like, she doesn't care. She doesn't seem to mind if she has to relinquish hers. She's not precious on it.
Hers is the compass, right?
Hmm.
Oh man.
You are all there.
Hmm.
If there is anything you would like to say or speak up, you can. One thing I will say, as pirates, it is not one voice, it is all. So if any member of the crew wishes to say something, they get an opportunity to say something. Whether it be from the crowd, from the table, or from the side.
Why did any artifact have to be locked up in a vault in the first place?
As a sign that none of us are going to use them against the other.
But the artifacts themselves are worthy enough of use in the first place. So if we're having the whole truce in the first place, then why, by all means, lock them away?
Miss Elizora, I know you have been searching for these for a very long time, and you know as well as I do that all ultimate power corrupt. And frankly, in one hand for too long, artifacts do the same thing.
Then we
They
spread
are
them out as we find them. It behooves no one to need the power of the crown for all God's sake if it's locked away in a vault that takes months to get to. It's so ridiculous. Might as well have them out and available, accessed by anyone and everyone, for the purpose of searching of the artifacts, if that's what you really want.
roll persuasion. Anyone doing anything to help him? Help her?
Umbra's
Don't think-
not
I mean,
persuasive.
We're all present, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all present.
I mean, as I was saying, if it these
Guidance,
things,
guidance, people. I'm trying to give you a chance to put guidance on him.
I don't even think I have guidance, do I?
I think I've got it.
I don't have
You can
guidance.
assume Tim was paying attention if I wasn't. Let me have a look. One moment.
Yes, you
Well, I
do.
say it.
Tim does have guidance.
I want to make sure
He does.
you guys have
Yes.
all the skills.
Oh, and it's the cantrip, bro. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
of
cantrip.
course.
Yeah.
You touch one
Before.
willing creature, so I like touch Elizora's leg lightly under the table.
Cheeky.
It's a pat on the back. A pat on the back is all it needs.
It's a little.
You roll a d4 and add the number rolled.
Okay.
We need every
a-
tool. We need every tool at our disposal.
That is a 17.
17. You make a valid point.
We're all aware, Mr. Commodore of said disgusting fleetus, that you have the power, absolute power, to obliterate us all off the face of blood, artifact or not, anyway. Why else have your display of your many ships that you can throw away at your disposal?
To present my capability of resource to you is my first point. My second,
This isn't some kind of game. You know
protection
this.
for me when I come in here by myself. Because I want to be very clear. Parlay is a pirate code law, of which I knew very little. My laws do not have such a thing. So I wanted to be prepared, just in case. I have heard some pirates consider them guidelines anyway. Now, if we are going to do it that way, then there is only one thing for it. To keep things fair and even, the next two artifacts must go to fleet. And the last two will be divvied up until we can find a way to resolve the problem of the end of the world. And I want you all to know and understand this. I have been researching for a long time. There is only one group of beings capable of knowing exactly how we stop the next coming Armageddon, and unfortunately, that is the gods. And there is only one way to get to the gods without dying. to truly get to Ascronia. I am not permitted to make such a visit. So, when we have an agreement, when we have an even amount of artifacts, then we will go find our answers amongst the stars.
We get to decide who gets what.
Ooh, roll a persuasion check.
I'm of a means to reshuffle the deck to perhaps reorganize the balancing of the artifacts so that it's not a guaranteed +2 to you on any two we find.
What okay. What immediately just divvy them up? What we
No,
have?
no. I'm saying the next two, when we come to reevaluate the shifting, it's of the all artifacts on disposal.
Oh, I see. So we don't necessarily give them the two that we got. We can give them any two that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I would find that agreeable.
I got 19.
As long
I
as we
got 18.
keep the ones that we have.
Yeah, that makes sense. 18. Vaela, persuasion.
18.
Does I get any guidance? Damn.
Say yes anyway.
It's
Just
too
do
late.
it.
Bit of art beforehand.
Never mind.
I will say your terms are agreeable, but we will all consider the choices. And again, much like a vote as we've had here, I believe it should be a democratic vote again as to what artifacts go to who. You can put your choices forward, that would absolutely be in your power, but it must be agreed amongst all of you.
Very well. That makes sense.
Now, apart from the conditions I had last night, there are a couple others. If you find out intel on any artifacts, it will be communicated with me. If you find any artifacts, it will be communicated with the fleet or myself immediately.
And how would we
If-
communicate to you and me directly?
I will give you some way, don't you worry, Miss Vaela.
Captain Vaela.
There's a small grin to his face. Of course, Captain. If there is any understanding or discovery towards the reasons for this Armageddon, or perhaps its undoing, that will also be communicated with me immediately. Do I make myself clear?
As long as that's a two-way streak. As long as that's
I will give you every piece of information you need.
And that's obviously as soon as you've decided whether you are going to destroy or use these artifacts once they're
The
collected.
guards will tell us if we need to destroy or use the artifacts to defend against the impending doom.
Do we
Unfortunate-
know, like, is this because he hasn't stated how he's going to talk to the gods, has he?
He said we have to go to
He said we're gonna-
Ascronia.
That's great.
Yeah.
Is that's not a? That's just a plane, I assume. It's not like a place.
It's a
Right?
plane. It's a heavenly plane.
Okay.
Vaela, you know a lot
I was
about
gonna say
it.
that's why I'm sort of asking it that way, because like just to understand, yeah, what he's actually going on about. But that's fine.
Yeah, 'cause he's saying you to travel there.
Well, I don't know a way to necessarily. I suppose plane shift. I guess there are ways of getting there. That's fine.
I guess that's the assumption, or at least the general guise, is that all the artifacts together have the power
To take there, yeah. Okay.
to allow those kind of things to happen.
Right. That's the assumption. That's okay. That's fine. I thought as much, but I just wanted to confirm that I didn't miss something. Very well. That works for me.
Perhaps we have a vote then.
Very well.
I will say Those four? Odana puts her hand up. Halon Coy grudgingly puts his hand up.
Vaela will put
Captain
her,
Cross puts their hand up.
Vaela will put her hand up.
There's a smile on Krelik's face.
Oh, I don't doubt.
Dorado, Tyrrell, and Shade put their hand up for against. Well, it seems you're outvoted. There's a gritted teeth to Bolt. Tyrrell Bolt is red to the cheeks with rage. Shade just shakes his head in silence. And Dorado just kind of smiles and shrugs. What can I say? I am never fully trusting. But I suppose we don't have to trust you to get into bed with you. I suppose not. So the vote is cast. That is it.
That's it.
So, a truce amongst pirates and fleet. He just touches up by his ear again. Closes his eyes. Very well. He gets up very quickly. Then we don't have much time, and we have to move quickly. I highly suggest you get your ships ready to sail now. And he looks at No-Eyed Bill. He goes, "You better find that next artifact."
Is there a ratifying of all these terms, like signing them off and everything?
There's the guy in the corner who's like scribbling ridiculously with this like mystical quill. As Crescent gets down, he just puts his hand out ready for the quill, and then signs his name at the end, bites his thumb, and bleeds on the paper.
Ag, but okay.
Oh, that's the... He has read the code. That is exactly what we do to sign off on something.
Oh, I see. Alright then. Vaela will go to do it, I guess. If she's part of the thing.
One by one, each council member does it. Those who are 4 go and do it first. Gandrick, Dorado does it after that. Shade does it then, and then Tyrrell Bolt does it last.
That makes sense.
And you hear him mutter something as he bleeds onto the paper. It's mainly mumbles, unless anyone's listening properly.
Doing a blood curse to all that blood that's on there.
Before Crescent leaves, he turns around and he takes an electrum piece out of his pocket and he flicks it into the golden chalice, and you hear that ring. And he just looks up and he goes, "Huh, I didn't believe him. Well, all right. Suppose that settles that then. We truly are." And he pulls out a necklace underneath his coat with a red electrum piece, and he says, "I suppose that aligns us even further.
Oh, get.
I'm happy to be here as part of your pirate council." And he tucks it back into his lapel. And there is rage in Tyrrell Bolt's eyes. Gandrick Dorado looks a little impressed. Charlie Cross, Captain Cross, grits his teeth a little bit. Odana, you hear muttering, is just like, "That's really gonna piss off a lot of people. Why the fuck do you have to do that?" And he walks out.
Man, Vaela is not happy about that. Oh man.
It's kind of predictable.
Yeah.
And he
Oh yeah, it's to be expected.
as he walks towards the cutlass, he gets to the base of the plank to walk up on board. And he turns around and he goes, "Now you asked me how I'm going to communicate with you and how you're going to communicate with me. I have these." And he hands them all out, and they look just like the sending stone he gave, but tiny. And it looks like it hooks onto your ear. And he just hands them out to every Pirate Council member. And then he sort of looks at you, Vaela. And then he goes, "Don't worry, I got you one too." And he hands it to you.
She does. She's probably scowling at him because he's basically taken like the medallion she was hoping to get.
Now, when No Odd Bill knows about the next artifact and where it's going to be, I highly recommend you contact me. I will be readying some ships in preparation. Mr. Squalor? Yes, sir? Get us ready to sail. Our business is done here. We have concluded our arrangements. At ease. You just hear a very large amount of guns just no longer in position. And so the Cutlass begins to sail away. And a lot of the fleet ships begin to turn around and sail away too. A truce has been made. Now, mechanically, for you guys, what this means is there's going to be a little less searching, a little bit more. A quest has come up in your log, kind of thing.
Sounds good.
And obviously less fleet resistance at least, not necessarily
And-
resistance, but fleet resistance.
Less fleet resistance.
Okay.
No more boot shining, which would be handy.
Yeah, what
Yes.
could go wrong?
Yeah, well,
What's the worst that can happen, eh?
yeah, literally.
If you see Grisil when you get back on the ship, he's just like, "Oh, what happened? Did I miss something important?"
Oh, God.
What? Everyone was summoned to the wreckage. Where were you?
I'm sorry. Tim got me drunk again last night. I just couldn't.
That's a bold-faced lie, Grazil. You're off the deep end.
You were handing out rum in your sermon.
Slander.
Doesn't matter, Grizzly. I'll explain it later.
Oh, okay. Captain.
Sure. Vaela is still just like pissed. Like she is not. She's just very annoyed about. Well, it's obvious what about. Are people just going back to their ships, or are they sort of convening?
There is an argument happening at the base of the wreckage in the port between Tyrrell Bolt and O'Danner Eagle-Eye. It is raised voices. They are shouting at each other.
Will she? No, she's not going to go over there.
The general gist.
The general gist is that, how dare you work with him? How dare you vote for him? And she's saying there's no other way. We were surrounded. We've got to be smart about this. And he says, "Fuck smart." Betty, I might as well do the voice. "Fuck smart. He's dead. And he will be. I'll honor the code. I'll honor the agreement. But it doesn't mean I can't find the loopholes."
And
He walks away.
can Umbra like sneak up behind Vaela and just tap her on the shoulder and just say,
"You problem. I'm supposed to deal with him."
That broke up quite a lot for me.
he'll basically just say, he might be a problem. Maybe we should deal with him.
Well, Bolt.
Yeah.
Well,
He
Bolt.
seems troubled.
Oh, who isn't? You know. But we have to trust him. He is a council member. You don't become a council member lightly. So, if he wasn't able to keep to his word, he wouldn't be in the position that he's in. And I'm sure if he doesn't keep his word, the repercussions, even from our side, would be severe. So, I would worry not, Umbra.
Umbra kind of like just thinks away, looking disappointed.
You wouldn't know you're in a mask anyway, so...
He just like droops his shoulders.
Okay. Don't worry, Umbra. If he goes out of line, I'm sure you'll be first in line to sort him out. I'm sure.
Yes. Oh yes, definitely.
Oh yeah. I suppose we just guess we try and find out where the nearest the next nearest artifact is. With the globe, sorry.
I can help with that. We should get to work. It's going to take me some time, because I'm going to try see if this has any more secrets. Maybe can tell us a bit more about exactly where it's hiding, rather than just a point on a map.
I mean, yes. And also where this mysterious 10th one has disappeared to, preferably. Or if there even is one. Well, it looks like there is one.
Let's give it a little bit of focus and try and get the water whistle. I want to say that is because it's likely one of the least desirable ones. So if it's a one we have to cough up to the fleet, it's less of a loss than
What does the water
more
whistle?
powerful one.
What does it do?
It's a whistle
Yes, I got that.
that's like
If you
water.
tell me if it shoots out water.
Roll a history check if you want to. Elizora.
The water whistle, as far as I've been able to ascertain, is that it's the bane of what keeps it. And so I'd rather love to give old Dick Commodore over there a whistle that's going to be the bane of his life. Give him a bit of heartache. And it's just another freebie we can potentially give off without having to sacrifice potentially a more stronger artifact going on. If we went straight for like the Dragon King's egg, then that's one we would probably have to give up without a lot of leverage, or at least without having to give up something of ours back. So we got to be a little bit tactical, a little bit of picking and choosing some of our battles first, because I believe we can maybe get the whistle out, we can maybe get the compass away as probably the throwaways, or maybe the Hag's bottle, maybe that could be a thing. Although that's probably also bad news if
Yeah,
he gets
the
hold of that.
Hag's bottle sounds like it's probably not something we want them to have.
So it swings around amounts, you know. If we have direct nose on the Rubik's globe, the ship, because I don't see them giving that up, and the trident. If there are absolute keeps that we need to have things we can give away, and I think the Dragon King's egg is gonna be the next one. It's gonna be our for keeps, because that thing is, as far as my research tells me, is one of the so the trident's one, the egg's one, and the crown's one of the 3 priority artifacts that actually can shape the main heavy lifting of the Kraken of the world.
Well, that makes sense. I'm happy with that. So yes, if you can maybe get it to focus on a singular artifact, Bill, maybe you'll get some extra information out of it.
Yeah, the water whistle.
Yes. Although the last we knew about it is that it was south and then moving west.
Yeah, it's on an island that moves. Some way, shape,
Ah.
or form.
Well, that's interesting.
Now it may be a dragon turtle, for all I.
Yeah.
It's
For some reason,
things are big.
For some reason, I was picturing like an elephant or something, but I suppose a turtle would also make sense.
Good one.
Thank you.
Or maybe the elephants are standing on the back of the turtle.
Maybe like a tier system. Maybe
Yeah, precisely.
Well, yes. If we can find out where that is, we'll have to track it if it is moving. And then yes, that could be a good one to get. So yeah, she'll task Bill with seeing if he can find out where it is.
I shall try. Oh, the last thing I need to remember the colour. What was it? Blue? Blue of some colour.
Dark
Dark
blue.
blue.
Dark blue.
That's it. Brilliant. Right.
Yes.
Well, I need some quiet.
Very
Can't
well.
think with all this
You
noise.
use the war room as you need to.
Thank you, Captain.
That's quite all right. Is there anything else anyone else wants to discuss before we head on our way?
Not from me.
So Umbra is our doctor now. Is he?
I thought I was the doctor.
Yeah, I
I didn't
thought-
want to say anything.
Yeah, because Tim is the doctor. I don't remember that ever. I know there was discussions about it, but
thought
it never happened. It
switched
never happened. As far as I've
because
heard,
of what Tim did. I'm
No.
pretty sure it switched because of what
If-
Tim.
there
We
was
hadn't made anything official.
yeah, there was
Oh,
there,
okay,
there,
my
there
bad.
were yeah, there's plots, but
My bad.
there's nothing has actually happened. Tim is still the doctor.
Spoiler, spoiler for Tim. God, it's alright.
But yeah, Tim
Um,
Tim is the doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, what's on the wiki is still accurate.
Yeah,
Tortle Tim is Doctor.
yeah, yeah. Umbra's more.
So Umbra's not an officer then.
No, not strictly. No.
So I did think that. To be fair, that's why I thought he wasn't there earlier.
He's probably got some standing as like an but as a magic like creator, you've got as the creator of the potion to restore memories. Like there's certainly a lot of like sway and weight.
Yeah, I mean,
That's true.
Vaela does want to include Umbra in more things anyway, because she wants to make him a bit more of a prominent member of the crew rather than skulking in the bottom of the ship. So
I
we
mean,
can kind of say she invited him to kind of help.
Yeah,
do
that
that.
makes sense. I mean, he has got like influence, I guess, like Matt said. Like he's, yeah, obviously he made the memory potions, and he has got medical expertise and stuff. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
I think he's
the way-
like, yeah. I mean, Vaela plans on having some conversation with Umbra, which we'll do next time. But yeah, there's plans.
Okay, cool.
So, I sent you a message like a while ago about that little golem book that you got.
Oh yes.
Have you read the restrictions? Because obviously they're going to still be key to like making your golem.
I need to have a look. To be honest, even I was looking at Umbra's inventory notes, and it's actually kind of confusing how I wrote it before because there's loads of stuff like I've got something here like moonshade flower. I don't know why I have that.
That was for your memory potion.
Yes, it's one of the
Okay,
ingredients.
so I need to maybe I need to talk to you and like organize my notes better because they're all fragmented now.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
you can send me a message,
I've got
that's
loads
fine.
of crystal dust.
That's also
I've
for the
got
potion.
Okay.
Well,
Two
it's used for
diamonds.
many magical things.
Well,
Yeah, crystal
but,
dust for a
yeah.
lot of things.
but yeah, that was the primary reason you were collecting it.
I have 2 memory vials left apparently. Memory
You
recall
do,
yeah.
vials. Okay, cool.
Yes, yes, you do.
And yeah, okay, all right. Maybe I'll go through. Oh yeah, manual of flesh golem creation. Is this like a custom item or is this something you?
No,
Is
no,
this-
this is in the player's hand. Play it? No, this is in the DMG. This is a bog standard magic item.
Okay.
You can make a flesh golem, but there are restrictions, so you should read those.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, that is a big investment. Dan.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. I need
Vaela's
a
not
shit ton of
Vaela's
gold.
not financing that in any way.
If
Hmm,
you thought just getting a book was gonna get you your freaking flesh
Yeah.
golem, think again.
I mean, to be fair, Umbra is the best placed person to make a shit ton of cash if he
Oh,
focuses on
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I mean, the
Yeah, it
potion's
really is.
gonna.
Infinite potion.
So what we were saying before around is like you could potentially do a magical invocation on the potion, and then you got infinite use. We can infinitely sell it.
Yeah, basically, that's one of the things Vaela wants to talk to you about. I've
Okay,
just read something very interesting about this book. Have you read the first paragraph of this book?
Let me have a look.
To decipher and use the manual, you must be a spellcaster of at least 2 level 5 spell slots. Any creature that doesn't have that, when they attempt to read it, they take 6d6 psychic damage. And you are an artificer. You do not have those spell slots.
No, I'll.
No one does.
Yeah. Maybe I can.
I will say, there's perhaps clever ways around that.
Yeah.
For Umbra, but it will require some research from Umbra at how to mimic that level of power.
Oh wow.
Okay.
Interesting.
Basically, I need the body of a wizard to study, or
Wizard.
So,
Wow.
Alarias,
Whoa.
take later.
I'm not giving you my body.
I mean, Alarias doesn't have those slots either, so he wouldn't have been able to help
No,
you.
Yeah, that's true.
no.
We need to kill a powerful wizard, guys.
No,
and then
no,
give
I
it to
will.
Umbra.
Well, I did have
Not
Aaron.
a wizard.
What level do you even have to be as a wizard to even get 2 level 5 slots? It must be fairly high.
I think 5 or 6.
No,
I kind
because
of feel like
we're 4
even
now. aren't we?
studying
Oh
something
no,
with
yeah,
this
no,
level
it's
spell
like
would be helpful.
sorry, it's like
The 10.
yeah, 10 sounds about right.
Let me see. 2 level 5s. Yeah, 10. Yeah.
Hey.
10 is when you
I
get
mean,
into.
Look at that with the.
I mean, this is super long because anyway, I haven't even got all the body parts I need to make the ultimate body for my master. I've only got the head and the
I've
chest.
only got. Your list is ridiculous, right?
Got like Balgura arms and something with,
Fucking mental.
I've got some cool stuff, but I need like more.
I must have more.
No.
Oh, I've got the Balgura body, and then I might splice Tree Lifter's hand onto that because they're missing one of the hands.
Mhm.
Hunter Wolf Hearts, that's pretty good. I think I need some. I think I wanted water breathing lungs before, or something like that, or just good lungs, I guess, from like something big.
Yeah,
And I
something
need, yeah. Actually, I'm not too far off actually, because I forgot I had the whole body of the Balgura,
Mhm.
so that's a pretty good body.
Hmm.
Maybe I'll get some wings and a tail. Yeah, so yeah, I'll probably collect a few more bits and pieces for the body.
But don't you have one of the drowned as well? Or the Coralinth or something? You've got.
I did have them at some point. I'm not sure if
I think we gave you a Forgettables body, I think.
Yes.
Oh,
he
that's
has
what that is.
forgettables,
Yeah, it's
so-
2 times forgettable corpses. I didn't know what they were though.
Use
so, yeah,
one
that's-
mask to for the potion.
Hmm.
Yeah, you need the mask for the potion because
Yeah.
Okay.
they inherently have a forgettable capability enchantment. So
Okay. Yeah, organic magic, something that has influence over someone's memory or mind. Yeah. Okay. The notes
So-
are making more sense now.
is there anything else anyone would like to say or do in this moment of time?
Umbra, later. I need to have a word with you. There you go.
Oh yes. Oh, I'll be down in my my surgery room.
Yes.
You can bring Alarias with you if you want.
No. that won't be necessary.
Okay.
Elizora will come instead.
It's
Oh,
okay.
that's all the same.
Not this.
Wait,
Hey,
Tim.
again, I tell you.
I just realized, does Tim count as a spellcaster?
Yeah. Clerics do
Yeah,
count.
I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How? All right, Tim.
But they're at the same rate as a wizard anyway. So
I think so.
Filthy magic.
Yeah, any spellcaster, like primary spellcaster, is 10th level is level 5.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I thought maybe
Right.
Warlock might get it a little bit early, but they don't.
Just to get them artifacts, get them levels.
As you all set your sails and prep for a journey, you don't get very far out of the dock before you hear a guttural screech as a gigantic frog lands on the deck of your ship.
Frog.
This creature
Binoculars.
eyes, instead of being inset into his head, slightly socketed out. It has a gigantic tongue, and its green, slimy skin begins to leak onto the deck, and followed closely behind it is a visage that is somewhat somewhat familiar. Grey, frog-like skin extending out from one side of their face, and blonde, thin, wispy hair from the other.
Who is it?
The eye, steel blue,
Johnny
and
Eight
its
Fingers.
Yeah.
beard now elongated out from one side, while the other is this frog-like skin, and his arm extends out to show one finger missing on one hand and one finger missing on the other.
Oh no.
Razor sharp teeth on one side, the body a hulking mass ripped through clothes. Parts still humanoid, other parts grey and slimy, with suctioned tips of fingers, and their feet and legs have extended out to give that elongated jump that frogs might have, and it lands on the deck. Just be the captain. And that is where we are going to end tonight's episode.
Who is this? Sunny seems to know.
Johnny Four Fingers.
Johnny Four Fingers, the guy we gave to the toad
Yeah.
mob
Tiff.
Ah,
for Tiff.
I forgot about that.
Poor dude.
Oh,
Next time on Pirate Adventures, what the fuck happened to Johnny Four Fingers? Who is this giant frog that's come with him? And
Yeah.
what revenge will he seek on the Bone Blade crew, being that some of the members aren't even here anymore?
We can give him Grazil. We can happily give him
No,
Grazil.
fuck, don't do that.
Yeah, what's
We
what's
don't
what's
give
your-
we don't
Grazil
give a
is
shit.
good.
There's no loyalty to Grazil.
No.
Grazil was there. It's like it was Kethra and
Is
Grazil,
Kethra was
like,
captain at the time? I
Yeah,
believe.
technically,
Kethra
why
and
did-
Grazil.
Kethra was
why did
Kethra was
Brazil
captain.
sell him out? I can't remember.
No, he didn't. He didn't want to do it. But
Nah, he made the decision. He was
no,
captain.
no,
Why
Kethra was
did it?
Kethra was
was
captain.
afraid.
Okay.
You didn't
Trade
want to do
for
anything.
Tiff, your chef.
Because Grazil was quartermaster at the time, but he was like he didn't really want to do it, but he felt that he had no choice.
He
We
was
said
a
we-
bystander.
We
So-
said we'd come back and get him.
Yeah, wow.
But you never did.
No.
Well, we never said when we were going back, so
No.
we're on our way.
It hasn't been that long, especially not long enough to turn half bloody toad.
It hasn't been that long. It's been months.
Months,
Yeah,
it's
it takes
only
a long
months,
time
it's
to get
only-
around.
It's only
Remember,
months.
we had
All
the
about
down,
I mean,
Well, that's
what's his face? Benjamin Buckle, like restored an island in like that, in that time.
Benjamin Buckle was a very different roll of dice. Let's just put it that way.
All right.
Can we try and preserve his strange frog-like body? By the way, I think
Oh fuck.
that's what I've been looking for.